Welcome to Selections from the Dhammapada, chapters 9 to 13, part 1 of 2, on Words of Wisdom. Buddha, or Gautama Buddha, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, was a great, extraordinary spiritual master from ancient India. Born as Prince Siddhartha Gautama in the 5th century BC, he would have naturally inherited the vast wealth of a kingdom. However, the prince left the palace life in search of spiritual knowledge. After years of contemplative seeking, the Buddha attained great enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He then shared the merits of his practice by providing a method for other sentient beings to be freed from the cycle of death and rebirth. The rich treasury of Buddha's spiritual doctrine on universal truths is studied and revered to this day for its deep wisdom and compassion. Dhammapada means words of doctrine or way of truth in Pali. It is also known as 法句经 in Chinese, 1部-법구경 in Korean, or Kinh Pháp Cú in Vietnamese. Dhammapada is an anthology of verses spoken by the Buddha on various occasions in response to a certain unique situation. It is one of the most popular and widely read Buddhist scriptures, enjoyed by both Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Its original version is in the Khuddaka Nikaya, a Pali Canon division of Theravada Buddhism. In total, there are 423 verses in the 26 chapters of the Dhammapada that convey the philosophical and practical foundations of the Buddhist tradition. The verses are mainly presented in pairs, like for example, grief and suffering against joy, developing the mind instead of ignoring the mental attitude and conduct, virtuousness versus misconduct, and being truthful, not deceitful. The whole purpose is to illustrate the desirable and non-desirable outcomes due to our actions, speech, and thoughts. The objective of the text is to guide one in leading a spiritual life by firstly attaining happiness in this life or in the future lives, and subsequently achieving spiritual liberation, freedom, and absolute peace. Today, we are delighted to share with you selections from the Dhammapada, chapters 9 and 10. Chapter 9, Evil, verse 116. One should make haste in doing good deeds. One should restrain one's mind from evil, for the mind of one who is slow in doing good tends to take delight in doing evil. Verse 117. If a man does evil, he should not do it again and again. He should not take delight in it. The accumulation of evil leads to dukkha, or suffering. Verse 118. If a man does what is good, he should do it again and again. He should take delight in it. The accumulation of merit leads to happiness. Verse 119 to 120. Even an evil person may still find happiness so long as his evil deed does not bear fruit. But when his evil deed does bear fruit, he will meet with evil consequences. Even a good person may still meet with suffering, so long as his good deed does not bear fruit. But when it does bear fruit, he will enjoy the benefits of his good deed. Verse 121. One should not think lightly of doing evil, imagining a little will not affect me. Just as a water jar is filled up by falling drops of rain, so also the fool is filled up with evil by accumulating it little by little. Verse 122. One should not think lightly of doing good, imagining a little will not affect me. Just as a water jar is filled up by falling drops of rain, so also the wise one is filled up with merit by accumulating it little by little. Verse 124. If there is no wound on the hand, one may handle poison. Poison does not affect one who has no wound. There can be no evil for one who has no evil intention. Verse 125. If one wrongs a person who should not be wronged, one who is pure and is free from moral defilements, namely, an arahat who has gained insight into the true nature of existence and has achieved nirvana, the evil falls back upon that fool like fine dust thrown against the wind. Verse 126. Some are reborn as human beings. The wicked are reborn in a place of continuous torment. The righteous go to the Deva world, and those who are free from moral intoxicants, namely the arahats, realize nirvana. Verse 127. Not in the sky, nor in the middle of the ocean, nor in the cave of a mountain, nor anywhere else is there a place where one may escape from the consequences of an evil deed. Verse 128. Not in the sky, nor in the middle of the ocean, nor in the cave of a mountain, nor anywhere else is there a place where one cannot be oppressed by death. Chapter 10. The Rod. Verse 129. All are afraid of the stick. All fear death. Putting oneself in another's place, one should not beat or kill others. Verse 130. All are afraid of the stick. All hold their lives dear. Putting oneself in another's place, one should not beat or kill others. Verse 131 to 132. He who seeks his own happiness by oppressing others, who also desire to have happiness, will not find happiness in his next existence. He who seeks his own happiness by not oppressing others, who also desire to have happiness, will find happiness in his next existence. Verse 133 to 134. Do not speak harshly to anyone. Those who are thus spoken to will retort, malicious talk is indeed the cause of trouble, and retribution will come to you. If you can keep yourself calm and quiet like a broken gong, which is no longer resonant, you are sure to realize nirvana. There will be no harshness in you. Verse 136. A fool, while doing evil deeds, does not know them as being evil, but that fool suffers for his evil deeds like one who is burnt by fire. Verse 137 to 140. He who does harm with weapons to those who are harmless and should not be harmed will soon come to any of these 10 evil consequences. He will be subject to severe pain, or impoverishment, or injury to the body, or serious illness, or lunacy, or misfortunes following the wrath of the king, or wrongful and serious accusations, or loss of relatives, or destruction of wealth, or the burning down of his houses by fire or by lightning. After the dissolution of his body, the fool will be reborn in the plane of continuous suffering. Verse 141. Not going naked, nor having matted hair, nor smearing oneself with mud, nor fasting, nor sleeping on bare ground, nor covering oneself with dust, nor striving by squatting, can purify a being who has not yet overcome doubt. Verse 142. Though he is gaily decked, if he is calm, free from moral defilements, and has his senses controlled, if he is established in Magga insight, if he is pure and has laid aside enmity towards all beings, he indeed is a Brahmana, a Samana, and a Bhikkhu. Verse 143 to 144. Rare in this world is the kind of person who, out of a sense of shame, restrains from doing evil and keeps himself awake. Be diligent and get alarmed by endless rounds of rebirths, samsara, by faith, morality, effort, concentration, discernment of the Dharma, be endowed with knowledge and practice of morality, and with mindfulness, leave this immeasurable suffering of the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth behind. Verse 145. Farmers channel the water, fletchers straighten the arrows, carpenters work the timber, the wise tame themselves.
Go ahead and make war. Bloodthirsty beasts also do that.
Gentle viewers, thank you for your company today for Words of Wisdom.